Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Choda, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the big problem with the $600 per week federal unemployment booster that essentially is a lifeline for many individuals and the shocking discrepancies that exist nationwide. I'm going to go over three things in this video. The first is some important research from a major non-profit group based out of Washington, D.C. Number two, I'm going to talk to you about the surprising discrepancies that exist nationwide with this $600 a week booster. And then I'll talk to you about what you should be aware of and how you can plan ahead. The American Action Forum, AAF, publishes research on economic, domestic, and fiscal, meaning financial policy issues. They have a bunch of economists, a bunch of experts on their panel that do the research and write articles. What they also do is, according to their website, they promote innovative, free market solutions to build a stronger, more prosperous future. And keep in mind, this is an independent, non-political, non-profit agency located in Washington, D.C. Now, I read a fascinating article on their website from Isabel Soto, who's a labor market policy data analyst. Now, the AAF did state on their website that the research and analysis published by their staff and experts reflects the views of the author and does not necessarily reflect the views of the AAF. So, according to this article on their website, the $600 per week federal booster, which again is a lifeline for millions of Americans, which is scheduled to end on the 31st of July, is indeed creating a disincentive for individuals, making them not want to go back to work. Now, Senator Rob Portman from Ohio did introduce a back to work bonus proposal, and I have covered that in another training video on my channel, so you definitely want to check that out. And this article said that nationally 63% of individuals currently make more on unemployment than they did if they were working. In fact, if this federal supplement, the federal booster, was reduced to just $100 a week, so that's a big drop from $600 all the way down to $100. Even then, 25% of the US population would still make more. 25% of the workforce would still make more on unemployment than they did while they were working. And the article also said due to variations between states, because keep in mind the unemployment benefits vary from one state to another, changing the amount of the federal supplement or the federal booster will affect the incentives for some workers and not others. So essentially, a uniform federal policy may not be the best way to go about it, because different states pay different amounts in unemployment. Different states have different criteria, because at the end of the day, your unemployment benefits, your UI, is dependent on the interpretation of your state agency. So if you have any questions, you need to get in touch with your state agency. Now, I want my subscribers to understand that when decisions are made by the administration, when decisions are made in the House, when decisions are made in the Senate, they are done by trying to take into consideration the needs of the vast majority. Even when a policy expert writes an article like this, what they're trying to do is create a solution that is ideal for the vast majority of the population. There is a gray area that exists because human lives are at stake. What happens to individuals who lost their job, individuals whose hours were cut, individuals who now have to come back at a lower salary, individuals who have been furloughed? There are a lot of gray areas at work here, and this is a very complex subject, and I have addressed this in other videos on my channel, so you definitely want to check out the unemployment benefits crash course. But for now, let's take a look at this table on your screen, which is the percentage of US workers that receive more on maximum unemployment at different federal benefit levels. Keep in mind the current benefit level, the current $600 per week federal booster at the time I'm recording this video is $600 a week. Now, this table was created by taking into consideration the maximum benefit in each state as well as the 2009 wage data. Now, when you look at this table all the way to one side, you'll see that 63% of individuals who receive the unemployment benefits, including the $600 per week federal booster, would make more money on unemployment than they would at their regular job. Now, let's assume that that federal booster after the 31st of July was reduced to $500 a week. In other words, it's not going to be at 600. By the way, that's pretty likely because the Republicans want to do away with the federal booster, but the Democrats want the $600 federal booster to continue. And I think there'll be some sort of a compromise. But I do believe that there will be some sort of a booster after the 31st of July. I personally feel very confident about that. But again, that's just my opinion as a concerned citizen on a YouTube channel. I'm not a policy expert, and I'm definitely not in Congress or the Senate. if this federal booster went back down to $500, then still 58% of individuals would still make more on unemployment. If this federal booster went down to $400 a week, by the way, that's a significant drop from $600 a week to $400 a week. That's a 50% drop in the federal booster. Even then, more than half the individuals getting unemployment benefits would still make more money on unemployment as compared to if they were having their regular jobs. Now, if this booster was cut in half, if it was reduced to $300, that would mean that 45% of individuals would still make more money on unemployment. And if it was cut down to all the way down to just $100 a week, 1 in every 4 individuals would still make more money on unemployment than the federal boost. Now think about this. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you have individuals working in the restaurant on minimum wage. You go to a movie theater at some point in the future. There are individuals working in the movie theater at or close to minimum wage. These are the individuals, the low wage earners, that are going to be making more on unemployment. And I believe they should. I mean, they should make more money on unemployment because they need the money. It's not, if I'm a minimum wage worker, it's not my fault that I'm a minimum wage worker. I'm depending on the wages that I earn. I should be getting help on unemployment. And I do believe that the way our system exists, which is a one-size-fits-all approach, is not an ideal system. I think individuals who need help the most should get that help. Now, there's a significant difference in the weekly unemployment benefits payouts between different states. Some states pay more, other states pay less. If you're in New York, for example, you get a higher weekly benefit amount than, let's say, if you were in Alabama. On top of that, individuals have different standards of living. Again, if you live in New York, regardless of your weekly unemployment benefits, your cost of living is higher, your rent is higher, your cost of food is higher than if you live somewhere in Alabama, for instance. So because of all of these complexities across different states, because of the difference in the standard of living, because of the difference in the state's interpretation of who qualifies for unemployment and who doesn't qualify for unemployment, there are a lot of gray areas, and this is an extremely complex subject. I've actually covered this in several training videos, and you can check out the unemployment benefits playlist, the unemployment benefits crash course on my channel. I recommend you go through all the videos in that crash course to get a complete picture, a complete idea of your unemployment benefits. Now, on top of this, Democrats want to extend unemployment. Republicans want to put an end to unemployment benefits, a $600 per week federal booster specifically, and they want individuals to get back to work. As if this wasn't enough, some states have started to reinstate job search requirements, which, by the way, were relaxed during this pandemic. But some states are saying, hey, you need to go out there and look for a job, and then if you don't find a job, you're going to continue to qualify for unemployment. So you need to talk to your state agencies to make sure that you continuously qualify for unemployment and you continuously meet the criteria in order to continue to receive unemployment benefits. Also, Georgia is working on a different strategy, which is allowing workers to keep benefits while working. This is fascinating. We need some sort of a creative, some sort of a blended approach that allows individuals to continue getting the support that they need while also being motivated to go out there and find a job when it is safe for them and when the jobs are available. Those are the two critical factors that really need to be addressed, and I don't see enough people talking about that. And finally, just to prove the point of the significant variation between states, you see a chart on your screen that highlights the percentage of workers in each state that receive more on maximum unemployment benefits at different federal benefit levels, because I foresee the federal benefit level, the $600 a week federal booster, changing after the 31st of July. Now, regardless of whether it changes or not, this chart in this article will give you an idea of the variation between different states. Let's take a look at California, for example. In the state of California, if the federal booster remains at $600, 55% of individuals in the state of California will make more money if they remain on unemployment. And if the benefits were reduced all the way down to just an additional $100 instead of an extra $600, you'll see that the number of individuals in California who make more on unemployment drops to 20%. So that's from 55% all the way down to 20%. That means anywhere from half of the population to 1 in every 5 individuals would end up making more money on unemployment, which is the basis of the argument that it creates a disincentive to work. Now let's take a look at New York and then we look at New Jersey. New York, the number suggests 60% of individuals would make more on unemployment if they got the $600 a week federal booster, and that number drops down to 25%. Still, that's 1 in every 4 individuals with a minimal federal booster of $100 a week. Now New Jersey is surprising. In New Jersey, as much as 65% of individuals would make more on unemployment, and if the federal booster went down to $100, as much as 45%, almost half the individuals, almost half of those receiving unemployment benefits in New Jersey would still make more money on unemployment if the federal booster went down to just $100 a week on top of state unemployment benefits. So this gives you a sense of how fundamentally inconsistent, how fundamentally unfair the federal booster is, because it disproportionately helps some individuals and it disproportionately hurts other individuals. It's more than enough for some individuals and it's simply not enough for other individuals. Now, if you thought the numbers in New Jersey were unusual, take a look at the numbers in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, 70% of individuals would make more money on unemployment with the $600 a week federal booster. In other words, if the $600 a week federal booster continues, as much as 70% of individuals, according to the Republicans, would not have an incentive to go back to work. What happens when this federal booster is cut back down to just $100 a week, which again, there's going to be some variation of that happening after the 31st of July. In Pennsylvania, 40% of individuals would still make more money on unemployment. The numbers are also pretty significant in Texas. 70% of individuals in the state of Texas would make more money on unemployment with the federal booster. And if that booster was dropped down to $100, 35% of individuals would make more money on unemployment. Now let's take a look at Florida and Georgia, which tend to have similar numbers. 60% of individuals in both Florida and Georgia would make more money on unemployment. I should say are making more money on unemployment with the $600 a week federal booster. If that federal booster went all the way down to less than $100 a week, less than 10% of individuals in Florida would make more on unemployment, which would in effect create an incentive to go back to work, and 20% of individuals in Georgia would make more money on unemployment. So as you can see, there's a significant variation between states. I covered a few states. If you want to see some of those numbers specific to your state, definitely check out the link to the original article in the description below. But here's the bottom line. Fundamentally, the $600 a week federal booster had good intentions. It has helped millions of people, but it should not end after the 31st of July. That's number one. Number two, it is fundamentally unfair to some individuals, because what happens to individuals who finally started to get unemployment in July? They'll only get the booster for a few weeks and what? They're out of luck after that. This shouldn't be a first come, first served kind of approach. This should benefit all of us consistently and uniformly. And those are just two of the factors. There are a lot of other factors at play here, and hopefully the House is listening, the Senate is listening, and hopefully there'll be some sort of a result that benefits most of us. I don't think the administration will be able to do something that helps each and every one of us, because this is such a massive job, but hopefully they can come up with a solution that is consistent with what we expect as United States citizens. Whatever happens, I encourage you to use this time wisely, learn new skills, become more literate financially. I've talked about financial literacy on my channel. I have a Managing Your Money playlist that I definitely encourage you to check out. Watch those videos so you improve your financial literacy, learn new skills, improve your financial literacy, and also please save as much money as you can, because this should teach us a lesson, and that lesson is it's always a good idea to have some amount of savings so you can get through a crisis like this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new in this video. If you did, please do me a favor and click the like button. It really helps me. I would really appreciate that. It tells YouTube that you like my videos and I'm delivering valuable information. That would personally mean a lot to me if you take just 1 second of your time to do that, because it takes me hours and hours to prepare for a video like this. It takes many hours to edit this content, add all the captions and the animations that you see in this video. So I'd really appreciate it if you take a second to click the like button. Also, please click the subscribe button below, and please smash that notifications button so you get instant updates from me for future videos. This way you'll get cutting edge information from me as soon as it's released. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.